again, everyone, and welcome inside another edition of the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. It is episode, AJ, number 26.
Ooh, you got it right this time.
I did. You had to correct me after last week. He, of course, is the former Oriole and five-time All-Star. I'm Jerry Coleman. Today in episode 26, we're going to be joined by Orioles pitcher Kyle Gibson. He's just around the corner. He was an All-Star in 2021, pitched in the World Series for the Phillies last year. Adam and I also will talk about major leaguers and the one-handed catch. In addition, beer sales in baseball. Is it prudent to move those back to the eighth inning? One player objects to that. Plus, Odell Beckham Jr. says he has no assurances he's going to play with Lamar Jackson. We'll react to the wide receivers press conference and comments this past week and qualify someone for another Miss Shirley's gift card in our Socially Speaking segment. We begin, though, with our featured guest. He was the opening day starter for the Orioles. He joins us here for the first time on the Adam Jones podcast. He is Kyle Gibson. Kyle, thanks for taking the time and being with us this week.
Hey, guys. No problem. Good to see you guys.
Let me start off, and thank you again, with your acclimation to the Orioles and the expectations when you came over. How is it comparing to your days in Philly and Minnesota? I know it's early, but of course you just came off a World Series appearance with the Phils. So how have things started out for you in Baltimore working inside that clubhouse?
Yeah, I really going through the free agency this year was, a little different with knowing that I was 3 years older, knowing that I was coming off, especially September where I didn't throw as well in September. So you really kind of never know how that momentum carries into the offseason. But had the chance to join a few different, really quality teams, and it came down to where this team was going in the direction. And that's kind of where I wanted to lead into spring training, because spring training with a young team, AJ can vibe for this. With a young team, I kind of felt like there was going to be some bumps and bruises and some days where you're scratching your head like, man, what is going on here? But these guys have such a good head on their shoulders. They far above any expectations, I thought. Every young guy that they've developed and they've brought in just handles their business in a really professional way. And I think it's going to let these guys reach their ceiling even faster, because they're not going to go through some of the growing pains and some of the mental mistakes that a lot of young guys probably go through because of maybe the lack of focus from day to day. But these guys don't lack that. It's been pretty special.
It'd be great to have you here, baby. Miss battling against you, man. We had some battles.
AJ, this morning I had deja vu, right? So the other day I gave up an 0-2 slider home run to Berger, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to AJ this morning. How many times did I give up a hit to him? And he looked at me and said, hey, throw the sinker, Gibby. Throw the sinker, and you had me. And guess what? If I threw a sinker in that 0-2 count, I probably had a ground ball sitting there waiting on me.
You got me, man. You got me when you do that, but you give me a chance. You gave me the slider. I'm saying, how has your knowledge and veteran leadership? I mean, you've been around. You're 10 years. You've been around the game. How has that helped by, and especially with last year being in the World Series, being around Wheeler, being around some dogs? How has that helped with this new staff? Like you're again the ace of it. You're the opening day starter, like you were in Minnesota. You're leaned upon. You're going to be asked the tough questions, not just baseball questions. You're going to be asked the tough life questions. Some of these 23, 24-year-olds. You're the older statesman like Adam Frazier is for the position players. How is that role because this is the first time in your career really where you're like dad in a way or something?
Yeah, no doubt. It's been fun, and I think what makes it a little bit more enjoyable is that I feel like I'm getting asked questions that are pretty productive, right? I don't feel like they're just questions that are kind of like the question of the day just to create a conversation. These are questions that are, hopefully guys have a reason behind it, excuse me, and just the impact on their day-to-day routine maybe is what they're looking for. And I think my goal coming in here was just to try to be as approachable as possible. I've been there, whether it's Mike Pelfrey, Kevin Correa, Phil Hughes, I was nervous on the golf course with Mike Pelfrey one of my first couple of times, right? Like probably asking these silly questions, but he made himself approachable, and those guys made themselves available and made me feel comfortable talking to them. So that's my goal with these guys, is to be approachable, be there when somebody's going through a hard time. Yesterday during the game, get asked a question and somebody says, hey, do you talk while you pitch? I was like, yeah, sure.
With that, with being approachable, do you think that you've helped some of the starters, especially early in the season, combat the nervousness, combat the big inning? Okay, I gave up 3 right here. Like, oh man, instead of going into the crapper, just like, look, hey, you gave up 3. We got an offense. Come on, we need you. Get back on there and shake that shake the first 2 bad innings and go out there and still throw 5, still throw 6, and give a good start. How have you been approachable? Do you think that's helped pitchers combat that bad inning? Be like, look, I gave up 2 or 3. Keep my head is in the sand. You think being approachable and like, look, hey, bad inning, we all had them. We need you for 4 more. We need you to combat this. We need you to get back out there, get back on the grind.
Yeah, so my last spring training outing, I think I gave up 4 or 5 to the Yankees, and still got through, 5 or 5 1/3, whatever I was supposed to get through. And a couple people came up and was like, "Hey, that looked a little different. Tell me your mindset there." And Jonesy, I don't remember when it was, but there was a time probably in like 2017 or 2018 where I just kind of made a decision. Listen, I'm not going to waste any inning that I get. And I'm going to root my confidence in this preparation that I do, because I do quite a bit of preparation. And if I give up 2 or 3 runs, I'm going to go to the next inning. And I have the chance to get multiple zeros here, even if you have a bad first inning. And some of that just goes back to that decision, is where I'm not going to let one inning affect the next 3. Every inning, I've got a chance to go out there and get 3 outs and put up a 0. And the more innings you waste, those are going to build up. Excuse me, just like at bats during the year. You know that. The more at bats you waste, you look at the end of the year, and maybe you've given away 60 at bats. Maybe I've given away 20 innings. That could have been zeros or at least limited damage if I just had a little bit better mindset.
We'll hear more from Orioles pitcher Kyle Gibson in just a moment. But first, a word from our dedicated, loyal sponsors. Go out and support these fine folks.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by the locally owned and operated Miss Shirley's Cafe, an award-winning breakfast, brunch, and lunch restaurant with 3 locations in Maryland. Miss Shirley's has been featured on Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and Triple D Nation, as well as Travel Channel's Food Paradise. Miss Shirley's Cafe has also been named Maryland's favorite restaurant by the Restaurant Association of Maryland. Visit Miss Shirley's Cafe in Roland Park, Inner Harbor, and Annapolis. Go to MissShirleys.com. Also by BMW of Towson, home of the best service department in all of Baltimore. That's BMW of Towson, easily located just off York Road and exit 26A on 695. BMW of Towson, very customer friendly. By Be More Around Town, which is now booking for their #Orange road trips to Atlanta, Wrigley Field, San Francisco, which includes a pit stop in Napa Valley, and Yankee Stadium, among others. Learn more now at BeMoreAroundTown.com. By the very respected folks at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. To some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register and wager, and you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash. Plus, get up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgambling.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniel's, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke. Ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit gleaf.com. Gleaf.com offers free delivery. Medical cannabis is for Maryland patients only. And the Baltimore Banner. The Banner is offering 6 months of unlimited digital access for only $1. To get started, visit thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ.
And now let's hear more from Orioles pitcher Kyle Gibson here on the Adam Jones Podcast. Speaking of decisions, Kyle, your decision to come to the Orioles as a free agent, the dimension changes at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, did they factor into your decision? And what's the perspective of your fellow pitchers who don't pitch at Camden Yards looking at the new dimensions of Oriole Park?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it factored in too much for me. I'm trying to avoid deep fly balls at all costs, so I think there's obviously a benefit. But things like, the team defense, the conversations that I have with Chris Holt and Darren Holmes, and just learning more about Adley and just how good of a player he is. I think those are more factors than necessarily the field itself. I've always enjoyed Camden. The look of it is very different, obviously. But hey, I guess we'll find out at the end of the year if it saves us more home runs than it costs us or whatever it is. But I enjoy that every field is different. If all of them were 330, 370, and 400, I think it'd be pretty boring.
That's one thing baseball is unique to all sports than every other sport is that all the ballparks are different. Japan, majority are the same. So it kind of like it took me back to like, damn, it's like high school because everything's the same. But how have you enjoyed the city of Baltimore? Have you got acclimated? I know we talk about sports all the time, but how have you got acclimated? Found any local restaurants? I got a place, Abbey Burger, guy has a burger on the menu. You look like you like a burger and a beer. I mean,
I love burgers. You know what, AJ? I've always loved going to Baltimore. It didn't really matter where we stayed. The Little Italy spot on the east side of Inner Harbor is just awesome. I'm learning more about Fed Hill. We stayed there in that area for the first homestand. And, there's a couple of Italian places that I've just had a really good dinner there in Little Italy. And then Vaccaro's dessert is like an Italian pastry shop. And that's probably one of my favorite dessert spots in the entire league. So I've always enjoyed Baltimore as a visiting player, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting into those spots that I've enjoyed over the first 9 or 10 years of my career.
Kyle, you said it when the Orioles brought you in. They were looking for you to be a veteran presence, eat up innings, win some games. The term innings eater is so prevalent these days. Is that kind of insulting, though, as a pitcher? It's like, okay, I'm not there just to earn innings. I'm there to earn a victory and keep the other team off the scoreboard, not just eat up innings.
Well, I think, honestly, the first time through free agency, that really didn't get brought up a whole lot. This time through, it was kind of a prevalent conversation where I've been really fortunate. I can't sit here and say all of my lack of injuries is because I have this amazing program that I am going to always stay healthy, because you never know. But I've been really fortunate where I've been able to stay healthy and make 30 starts a year for the most part. And I think that was something that helped my case a little bit this offseason was being able to stay healthy and posting up every 5 or 6 days. And I do take pride in that. I do take pride in the in-between program to make sure that when the 5th day comes around, I feel my best. I do things a little bit different when it comes to, no throwing day after I pitch. I do a few different workouts now that I'm 35 and a little bit older. Just do different things in between starts to make sure that when day 5 comes around, I feel the best, because I used to lift a little bit heavier, used to do different things to kind of push my body a little bit. That maybe kind of impacted that recovery, but I'm trying to do that a little bit better. But I don't necessarily take offense to innings eater, because I think if you're throwing quality innings and eating innings, that's really what they mean by that.
Kyle, appreciate your time. We know you got a game to get to, pitching appearance to prepare yourself for, and we really appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you during the season, hopefully again.
Thank you, guys. Great talking with you.
Well, Adam, I'll tell you, 7 major league years for him with at least 29 starts made, and 3 of those seasons posted an ERA under 4. Big anchor of the staff, 1-year deal, $10 million, kind of replaced Jordan Lyles in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I think has a better resume.
He said it right, though. Innings eater is not a bad thing. That means because you're not going to allow somebody to throw have a 6 ERA and throw 180 innings. I don't think you're going to do that. That's not a recipe for success. I'm sorry. So that means he's been healthy, but he's thrown good innings, and he's not just an innings eater. He grew up around some really good dudes, and like he said, right, with Pelfrey, who I faced, and Phil Hughes I faced, and we all grew up together around just a good generation of guys who were approachable, like he said. When you're an open book as a player, as a vet, for the young players to go talk to the veteran player, and you have an open book, it makes a world of a difference. Trust me. When you have guys that are just old school and just don't want to talk to you, get piss off, kid, and things like that. That makes me want to beat you, take your job, and laugh at you, opposed to win with you. You know what I mean? But that's again generations. And when you still have guys like that though that are just straight jerks.
Yep.
But majority of guys are just awesome dudes who are like, hey, this is how you be successful with it. This is how you maintain this level of success. This is how you want to stay in the big leagues. This is how you do it. Not why should you stay in the big leagues. There's no people like that. Why I should be in the big leagues? No. How you get sent down? Well, you didn't do this. You didn't do this. You didn't focus on this. You want to do this rather than this. So
you had some success.
Good to have that.
You had some success against him when he was with the Twins. I did look that up, but I didn't want to mention that during the interview.
I did. I mean, I had success against a lot of people. A lot of people have my number too. I mean, the thing about it is, I think the guys that I had success against are guys that pounded the strike zone. I think, guys who weren't afraid to, 2-0. All right, here's the fastball. Let's see what you can do. And I did a lot when I could do it, when they gave it to me. But he was a competitor. He got me out a lot of times too. Broke a lot of bats. I know that damn sinker. I told him all the time, you give me 0-2, stop throwing that damn slider, man. I'm gonna hit it. You throw me a sinker, you got me jammed out. Okay, I can't beat out a ground ball to third base. Nobody's beating that out. So, you play tricks with them. Then next time I get them 0-2, I'm sitting inside, opening up and just lacing something down the line. It's mind tricks, baby.
All right, Adam, some more about the Orioles, and we appreciate Kyle Gibson, as always, for being a part of the podcast. But let's move to our For the Birds portion. And you, as a former veteran outfielder, I would love to get your thoughts on what we're seeing with the lack of defense with the Orioles. And it's some of the simple things that you learn in spring training, like catching the ball with two hands. Although in the major leagues, I don't see a lot of guys catching with two hands. But especially me as a little leaguer, because that was the highlight of my baseball career, always taught two hands, Coleman, two hands. Yeah. You're not that good.
Exactly. And, the most people that are teaching this are just dads or mechanics, just playing the sport, teaching themselves how to play the sport also. When you're in the major leagues, you make catches. You can catch the ball with one hand. I think that you should be able to catch the ball with one hand. And I would go back to Boston with the young man. I think it was him. And he dropped the ball. I know it could have been the last out. But he manned up and said, hey,
Ryan McKenna.
He said, hey, I got to catch this ball. And, I hate this adage, though, and this narrative of two hands. Just shut the hell up. Two hands. All my catches, my best catches, all the best catches you see in baseball history, all of them, except Jim Edmonds' catch and Willie Mays' catch over the shoulder, are with two hands. Or with one. Everything else is one hand. Everything else is with one. Every great catch is with one hand. You should be able to catch the ball like this. I get it doing like this, but you know that it kind of blocks you to do it like this? You teach a kid to do that so he brings his hand over. But as an adult, it kind of blocks you. So it's kind of easier, Gold Glove center fielder, versus the normal dad who just got done changing the oil. No disrespect to people that change oil.
We all need oil changes.
Exactly. BMW. I've caught thousands of balls just like this, and like this. I've dropped, the only balls I've dropped have been like this. And I've dropped a few, not many, but I've dropped some like that. And again, if you're at the major league level, you should catch the ball. And whenever a commentator says, "Oh, two hands," shut the hell up. Shut up. No one catches the ball with two hands anymore. I'm sorry. It's just not at the major league level, and this is how you taught. I'm sorry. It's just not. It just is what it is. I'm sorry.
And Adam, isn't it more difficult too if there's a runner on third tagging up and you're trying to catch with two hands to make that throw?
No. See, there's the thing though, is when someone is running and trying to make a catch, of course you're going towards the ball, and it's a completely different attack towards the ball. When I'm trying to catch the ball and going towards it and trying to throw someone out, I would try and catch it on the right side of myself, but trying to catch it in front of me, so my momentum, I love that word, momentum, obviously, is taking me this way so that I can catch it and get rid of it, but I want it on my right side because that's where my arm is at. Some people want to catch it one-handed, bring it all the way back over. That's too much time. The proper way to do it, which I was taught, I threw a few people out, was to catch the ball, I'll put in camera, to catch the ball on my right side, but just right at this eye level to where I can catch it, and I can come here and transfer from my arm. Me, I was good at it because it helped because I was a shortstop, so I knew the transfer part, but I had to just learn to, consistently catch it on this side, because normally I want to catch it on this side with nobody on or anything like that. But if somebody was running, I had to catch it on my right side. These are things that I easily taught.
When was the last time you were actually lectured by a coach or manager about, hey, two hands? Was it Little League?
No, it was probably pro ball. No, honestly, no. I don't think it was pro ball. Because once I got out to the outfield, it was like, man, catch the ball and get the ball in as quick as possible. It's just like catch the ball. You know what I mean? But it's always that fan who's catch the ball with two hands, and you watch many people try and catch the ball in the stands, and we get it, okay? But I'm just saying, I know it's the old adage, catch the ball with two hands. It's the old school way. It's the way you teach a kid. That's the way you teach a kid. Remember that. That's the way you teach a kid. I'm teaching my kids right now how to do the beginnings of all these sports. I'm not showing them Nadal videos. I'm not showing them Serena Williams videos. I'm not showing them Tiger videos. I'm showing them like the high schoolers, the ones that, you know what I mean? These are the kids that are just a little bit above you and they're still making mistakes. But they're so much better. Like, no, man, take your time. It's okay. But in the big leagues, catch the damn ball. That's just catch the ball and shut up, people with two hands.
All right.
Up.
Well,
Shout out
speaking
to
of being
your kids.
instructional, like you are with the kids, I did want to ask you about with the Orioles. I mean, there have been some defensive miscues, and they keep saying, okay, we got to work on them. We got to work on them. But isn't that what spring training is for? How much work can you get accomplished during the season defensively, Adam?
Well, during the season, the situations are real. In spring training, all you can do is prepare yourself for all the situations. And you have to understand, spring training, not everybody has played together. You know what I mean? Like Rutschman didn't catch everybody. Mullins was gone. Again, they played with each other before, but it's still new. It's, people may have gained weight. People may have lost weight. People may have lost a step, gained a step. There's so many different factors. And we don't play every day, with each other every single day, and especially with the outfield. There's such a revolving door going around. Santander's DHing, then Barber's in right, then McKenna's in right, then McKenna's in left, then Hayes is in right. Obviously Mullins mainstays in center, then McKenna plays center. So it's just a revolving door a little bit. But at the same time, these guys are professionals. They know each other. It's just a matter about just covering yours. It's always the thing, just cover your own ass. Don't worry about his ass. That's Kirby used to say. It's like, you can only wipe your ass. Just wipe yours. Let him wipe his own.
Not enough toilet paper for everybody.
No,
right?
just cover yours. And and they got the athleticism. So, they have everything going for them. These are just early season mistakes that happen. A lot of other teams are making them. They just happen. Now it's just, especially with young teams. So what you have to do is you just got to keep working on them, keep emphasizing them. And with technology and with video and with all this stuff, it's easy to have with the meetings that we have and that they have in the big leagues now. It's easy to just take the guys aside and look at. We just got to get better communication. We got to do this. We got to do that. These are all things that pros do. That's why they call it adjustments. And, it's like when a shooter is struggling shooting. What does he do? He goes out a little bit early and get his shots up. And what does a quarterback do when his accuracy's messed up? He goes and practices a little more. So just got to put in the extra work. That's the only way for any of this to get done. The only way to be successful in a major league is to work. There's no other way to do it. You can fathom it. You can dream it. You can write it on your fantasy, which 99% of people who dream of playing this game is. But you have to put in the work.
How many home runs did we know about the famous Machado catch in the WBC?
Yeah.
You've seen others. Did you keep a track of how many home runs you took away from ball players?
I don't know the exact number. I believe it's around 10. I don't know the exact number.
You cost some people some money.
I cost a lot of people some money, and I help people make a lot of money with my legs and running bases and all that kind of stuff and defensive catches. And it's both sides of it. They help me make a lot of money, too, by giving me the opportunity to show my talent. So, my biggest pride of playing defense, though, was for like a 5-6 year stretch, I played the shallowest of all center fielders in the game. And I played 299 feet. What I did was I took away everybody's singles. You get a single, like a short line drive, a blooper, sorry. Now you smoke a ball off the wall. I'm an offensive center fielder. That's not up to me. That's just a great hit. Sorry, pitcher, you shouldn't have hung that. But if you make a great pitch and they hit just a blooper or jam shot, I was always there. Now if they lace something, I'm gonna try, but it is what it is. But it was a pride. And then I remember when Dan was like, we got to get you to move back and do this and that. And I was like, I fought against it because I'm like, dude, I'm having success doing what I'm doing. Once you get the guys around me, you get some Gold Glovers that I had around me, I probably might be still pretty good in your eyes. But I probably lost a step at that time. And, but it's just understanding, like, you got to play defense. Defense is emotional. You know what I mean? It's a trait to me. Like, you got to be a bulldog. Some people don't have bulldog in them. It's what it is. Some people just don't have the bulldog in them. It is what it is. And most people don't have bulldog in them. But I got it in me, man. When you gave me that glove, a coach told me a long time ago when I was in outfield, I just moved to outfield. He said, "Hey, if it hits the grass, that's your ass." And I was like, okay. All right, enough said. You don't need to tell me much more. Just like when I got there, Dave Tremblay told me, "Hey, this is your job to lose." It took a long time for me to lose that job. Buck Showalter, when he said, "I need you to be a leader. I need you to play this game hard. I need you to run this team. I don't need you to sit there and like, excuse me. I need you to put your hands right here and do this and nah. When you got a bulldog, let him eat, man.
What was the toughest outfield for you to play in? Would it be a place like Fenway where the dimensions are all wacky, Adam?
Fenway, yeah, no, it's crazy. Fenway, I learned Fenway well because I learned the wall. I learned to not, I can't defend the wall. I can't defend something that is just monstrous. I can't defend it. So what I did was I learned that if play right center and try to play the big part of the right center part of the park since it's 420 out there. Great number.
Coming up soon.
And I'm like, damn, this is so let me just figure out that if the ball's hit hard this way, I can't catch it. It's 370 to the gap. Line drive is off the wall. So play this way. The hard ones, I would. I mean, there's always ones that were new. I mean, with me, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about Tampa because since it's a turf, it's turf warning track also. So he's like, "How did you know?" I'm like, "That's a really good question." Like me saying it like you're just supposed to know, but like I remember going out there and measuring my steps and like not being afraid to take my eye off the ball. But I went out there early, practiced on with Kirby, hitting the balls high and like counting my steps once I get to the warning track. And I just learned that most ballparks with my stepping was 1.5 steps. If I feel a step early in grass and dirt immediately, I know I got one more step and I got to jump or brace myself because I'm hitting the wall. But if I knew if I stepped in the middle of it, it's one step and I got to jump. So it was knowing where you were at. And I knew every single ballpark. I know still to this day, I know every single ballpark and how many steps, who has the big warning tracks, whose warning track is shorter, because I think you're supposed to know your job. You're supposed to know your domain.
Yeah. Well, that catwalk in the Trop is what? In play, out of play? I can't keep
It's in play, but the one that is for us, for the outfield, if they hit the one for the center fielder, that's like 560. I personally have not had one hit the center field, hit that one. I've seen them hit right and left, but I've never seen one hit the center. I mean, that is a tank. I'm talking about that's going up on top. That person needs to play in that old beer league softball home run challenge. And the pitcher needs to go throw his glove and all that stuff in the trash like Tyler Rogers did.
All right. Well, I want to address something real quickly because during a group chat this week, you questioned, how in the hell did I get inside the Orioles clubhouse? Are you credentialed? Yeah, that was my second trip inside the clubhouse. The previous podcast, I talked about how respectful Gunnar Henderson was. This was to see Kyle Gibson, our guest. The Orioles have been extremely cooperative. I guess they're looking the other way because I'm working for the Baltimore Banner and on the Adam Jones podcast. But I'll make cameo appearances. And speaking of cameo, that's where you can find me at cameo.com for a short price. All right, let's transition. Unless you want to add something to what I just had to say.
No, I mean, it's just I still wonder how they even do that. Like, how? But okay.
Veteran presence.
It's okay. It's okay. That's respectable. I respect that.
Yep. We appreciate all the cooperation we get from the Orioles.
Sure.
Let's move to the Ravens, who actually cooperated. They let me in for the Odell Beckham Jr. press conference. I'll say this reluctantly, but they let me in. And ODB says he got no assurances about Lamar being his quarterback. So what do you think is his motivation for coming to the Ravens? For me, money has to be a big part of it because I didn't see other teams throwing money his way. But I also have to think in the back of his mind, he knows he's going to end up playing with Lamar for at least another season, AJ.
I mean, that's again, as of now, Lamar is a Raven, tentatively.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, Lamar, that's the biggest bag. I mean, not Lamar, Odell, that's the biggest bag he can get. I've seen things where reports he had similar offers by the Jets.
He went to the Jets and said, "Hey, can you match this?" And they were like, "No."
No. So if again, at the end, when you start to sign 1-year deals, you go. I mean, Kirk Cousins is the perfect example of it. When you sign a 1-year deal, you get the biggest one you can get because it's a 1-year deal, and you go after opportunity. I mean, the Jets, the opportunity to play with Aaron Rodgers, again, but he won't be the number one. He wouldn't be the number one receiver there. You know what I mean? They got a really good team, the Jets do. But you get to play with Aaron Rodgers, who is like always going to throw the ball. Lamar is a damn good passer, but he ain't gonna throw it like Rodgers. Rodgers always throws the ball. But he took the biggest bag. But again, these guys are in the same circles. So they notice like there's age gaps and age differences, but they know the same people. It'd be great. It'd be explosive if them two could play together. I mean, how Lamar can escape the pocket and how Odell can break off his route. I mean, you got that could be so fun. And again, we talked about it last week, is that Odell ain't been hit, so he's fresher. Like, man, it could be really, really fun for the Ravens if them two if they could work together. And then you add the tight end Andrews. I mean, like, you got the best tight end. I mean, that's a 1B with Kelsey.
Yeah.
But you got just
and then the
dynamicness.
backfield. You got Dobbins and Edwards.
Healthy. Like, if you get these guys healthy, like, your offense can be explosive. They never had a Pro Bowl receiver. I'm not saying this year could be the year, but you can have receivers that are getting more respect across the league, opposed to just talking about the running back and talking about just the quarterback. You can just the defense. Like, look, we got some receivers here that's got some dogs in them too. So, that's a great addition, but you need the quarterback. I know Huntley's a hell of a talent, and no disrespect to him, he's not Lamar Jackson.
He's not Lamar. No.
Yeah. So it could be a perfect marriage, but at the end of the day, it just has to work first. Lamar has to say, "I do."
Yeah, he needs to get on the field and start working together with Odell, and not just hanging at the.
But who's to say he hasn't been working with Odell though? Again, these guys are in the same circles. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I love about Lamar, and I love about a lot of dudes. They don't post their workouts. What are you posting your workout for? Nobody give a damn that you lifting that. Congratulations, You can bench press.
Congratulations on doing your job.
No one cares. You're working out. Congratulations. I thought you already did it. And then you're supposed to, according to the sports world, you're supposed to be up before dawn like Rocky. That's how people think that athletes are supposed to train. But who's to say they haven't been working? I don't know. Again, I'm not in their circle, but athletes work out and train together, especially the Florida boys. The Southern boys, they train together all the time. They always have. And who's to say they haven't been running routes together and working in quiet together? You know what I mean?
Well, it seems like it's an exciting time as the Ravens gear up for the draft. And then we are told, and I've been promising, we'll have the general manager and coach on, Adam. You have my word. You have my word, because I have their word right after the draft is what I've been told. Let's take a trip beyond Baltimore, our national perspective on things going on outside of the Charm City. So we're staying with baseball here because games are down by average of a half hour. And now there are 4 individual Major League Baseball clubs that are seeing a lack of beer sales because these games are going right by, lickety-split. So they're going to allow fans now, these 4 teams, and they would be the Phillies, the Diamondbacks. They would be the Diamondbacks, the Twins, the Rangers, and the Brewers. Phillies pitcher Matt Strom feels that teams should actually stop selling beer earlier because baseball loves to promote safety and all that, but if you're serving beers in the 8th inning, guys are chugging them down and then getting in their cars or gals, and we know how that ends up sometimes.
100%. It's never a good thing. That's a big problem. That was going to be a big problem, underlining problem that people didn't really think about. They're just, people were just talking about this time of games and all that, but no, it's a bigger issue just because it's money. When it comes to money.
Totally.
It comes to money, and you see some of these lines, and with the pitch clock, you can get in line and you say, "I'm gonna get a beer in the top second." You can come back, and it could be bottom 3 very quickly. Like, if there's 1, 2, 3 like back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings, you come back and like, well, damn. I remember I told you when I was at spring training, I was up there talking with Elias, and we were just talking. I'm like, hold on, this is the 7th inning stretch. It's still light outside. Like, I've never played a night game with a 7th inning stretch. Like it. The games are speeding up. I think it's good for the game, obviously, to speed up as, people want quicker games. They can get home at 10:30, a reasonable time instead of 11:30. That hour makes a big difference. But it's going to be a problem. Fans want their beer. You don't want people drinking in the parking lot or drinking upon arrival. Obviously, you want them to buy your product, but there has to be a compromise somewhere. Again, that's not my department, so but there has to be a compromise somewhere, and it's just a matter of how you do that. I'm not in that department, but having fans is not as many drinks, not as many beers. It's like, I don't know. It's as a fan, I like a beer and a dog. So when I see
as an outfielder, you don't like a fan drunk in the 8th inning giving you crap.
Well, I mean, they stop in the 7th, but I mean, I don't mind it.
If they start serving in the 8th now with this new policy,
again, as a fan, I don't mind if you're drunk giving me crap. I mind if I don't care what you are, just don't be cussing and be belligerently loud amongst all these other fans. You know what I mean? Like that's what always ticks me off. You're in outfield and you're trying to get my attention. I am like 80 feet from you. Only way to do it is to scream as loud as you can. And if I hear you, that means that people 80 feet each way, upwards, and probably even more, can hear you. So, and what you want to do? Turn around and give you a say,
Hey, how are
buddy.
you?
No, you're gonna say, you son of a, you suck, and everybody just looking at you like. Some people are gonna be like, yeah, he sucks, and they'll be like, you look like an idiot. But the person doesn't care, nonetheless. So I don't care, but it's just whenever someone just starts yelling and cussing and be belligerent, things like that. Because again, there's kids there. Say I suck, I struck out. You should have swung at that. Ha ha, you didn't do that. Your team sucks. You're good or whatever. I love that banter. That's sports. Getting personal, cussing at me and stuff like that. Like I remember some dude coming out when Manny's on deck. I'm on the top step, and some dude's like, Manny, you're a effing B. And we just look back like, quiet. We're hitting. We just look. Everybody on the top step looks back and is like. Like, for what? For what? Like, just give me a reason why this situation happened. Like, why? And it was quiet. Everybody heard. The security went to him. Get your dumb ass over here and go this way, man. You stupid. You just what? Get your dumb ass over here. And hopefully they ban people like that because that's not sports. That's not sport. Now, if he struck out on the way back, man, he's screaming, you suck, you struck out. That is perfect. Man, he's probably walking back like, man, why not swing at that? Man, damn. But just while he's on deck, just screaming, man, you're an F and B. Yeah. Everybody just like, it's like that slow look back like,
Yeah.
Man, get your dumb ass over here.
That's a D-bag move, no doubt about it. Now, I mean, the whole thing with the eighth inning beer sales, you're right. It doesn't make sense. It makes dollars. And to me, a little hypocritical, though, because, Adam, they put up this safety net to protect the kids from foul balls. They start the games earlier, but we're going to sell beer in the eighth inning.
I mean, why is weed not legal and alcohol is legal?
Well, it's
money.
Becoming more legal.
It's money. It's becoming more legal. But why can you go and find any alcohol you can find in any corner in damn near in America anytime? You know what I mean? It's money. It's money. Again, these are all things above my head. These are just things that I see as a culture and as a society that I grew up in. And, growing up, I seen you can go get liquor everywhere. Right. Anywhere. You can go get liquor everywhere. At the store, legally. But to go get, unfortunately, I grew up in an area where people was on dope. But to go get dope, it was no store for dope. It was a person. They'd be like, hey, man, here you go. Here's the handoff. Go around back. Go around back. You know what I mean? Like, so it's money. It's again, that's above my pay grade. That's above my knowledge. But it's what I seen. So what I was affected by, I should say. You know what I mean? Yep,
sure do. All right, let's put a bow and tie on this podcast with a chance to win free food, something we both love. It's our Socially Speaking segment, AJ, where we answer a tweet or social media post, and you qualify for a Miss Shirley's gift card by rating our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Easy to go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and sending us proof, some evidence, whether it be on our social media platform or email, social media, at Adam Jones Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our email address, which I always have problems with. That is simply the Adam Jones Pod at gmail.com. The Adam Jones Pod at gmail.com. So this week, someone named Be More Dude wrote, quote, "It's great to hear All-Star center fielder Adam Jones' perspective on everything from baseball to the World Cup football and everything in between. Jerry Coleman is also a breath of fresh air, as he doesn't have any problem speaking the truth about the local teams, especially the Ravens, who seem to have a clamp on local reporters, not Jerry. This is true. I don't carry the water for any of the local teams. I do root for the Orioles. I do root for the Ravens, but I'm not going to be a cheerleader for them when I'm in a media capacity. It's not professional."
Just because they took your pass away, now you want to be all...
Nobody's taking my pass away yet.
Okay, Ravens. Okay, Orioles, I'm going to tell the truth about you.
The day they take my pass away, things will change. 180.
Hey, I mean, these are what you want. You want to hear the fans telling you what they like and what they dislike. That's why we always tweet out like, "Hey, what can we do to improve?" That's what it's about. You know what I mean? You want to please the fans and to get their perspective and their interests. And my perspectives and stories are cool because I'm a big ass fan and I got time. and I got some money, a little bit, so I can go to all this crazy stuff. Like we're looking at the World Cup for the women's in New Zealand and in Australia. I just showed my wife like this like 2 days ago, and she's like, "Want to go?" I'm just saying, like these are
You
things
got her
I get to
hooked
do
in
off season.
Qatar. You got her hooked in
I
Qatar
got
at the
her
men's
hooked.
version,
Oh
and
yeah,
now
she
she's
enjoyed
thinking
it.
about going. Okay, nice job.
Oh, 100%. She thoroughly enjoyed that, and like, but we also want to go to New Zealand and go to Australia, and like, what would be a perfect time to be able to explore these great cities, and then go to the game at night, and then explore the city in the day, go to the game at night, and it's in different locations, so you can tackle a couple cities in one location. That gets expensive, but why'd I work my ass off?
All right, my 2 cents, and I'm not the travel expert your wife is, but if you do go to New Zealand, stay away from the volcanoes. I just saw a special on Netflix on volcanoes in New Zealand. It's not a pretty sight.
I was in Japan for 2 years. You didn't tell me nothing about that, about the Ring of Fire. There was like 45 earthquakes that went on while I was in Japan. Good thing I was southern, so it didn't affect us as much. But when we went to Sendai, where they had that massive earthquake and tsunami, it's 12 years ago now. I have a 10-year anniversary shirt that I got from the team about that, and like it's the Ring of Fire up there, man. They have them all the time. It's nuts. This world is nuts.
It is.
Beautiful.
You're seeing it,
It's
but
nuts.
you're seeing it. You got the chance to see the globe. All right. We do want to thank our loyal, dedicated sponsors. Please go out and support these folks.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by the locally owned and operated Miss Shirley's Cafe, an award-winning breakfast, brunch, and lunch restaurant with 3 locations in Maryland. Miss Shirley's has been featured on Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and Triple D Nation, as well as Travel Channel's Food Paradise. Miss Shirley's Cafe has also been named Maryland's favorite restaurant by the Restaurant Association of Maryland. Visit Miss Shirley's Cafe in Roland Park, Inner Harbor, and Annapolis. Go to MissShirleys.com. Also by BMW of Towson, home of the best service department in all of Baltimore. That's BMW of Towson, easily located just off York Road and exit 26A on 695. BMW of Towson, very customer friendly. By Be More Around Town, which is now booking for their #Orange road trips to Atlanta, Wrigley Field, San Francisco, which includes a pit stop in Napa Valley, and Yankee Stadium, among others. Learn more now at BeMoreAroundTown.com. By the very respected folks at the Weinman Company. By Hollywood Casino Perryville. To some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood and Barstool are bringing you more ways to bet in Maryland. Catch all the action in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville at the Barstool Sportsbook, or bet online with the Barstool Sportsbook app. When you download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register and wager, and you can get up to $1,000 bonus cash. Plus, get up to $1,000 when you sign up and wager in person at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Play from anywhere and get up to $2,000. The choice is yours. Must be in the state of Maryland to wager and over 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgambling.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. By Jack Daniels, 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are now both available in a can. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke. Ready to drink? Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. By G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit gleaf.com. gleaf.com offers free delivery. Medical cannabis is for Maryland patients only. And the Baltimore Banner. The Banner is offering 6 months of unlimited digital access for only $1. To get started, visit thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ.
Also, thanks to our fine executive senior producer. He doesn't like when I use the word senior, but he's the veteran of this show. He is Chip Franklin for putting together this latest episode. Kudos to him. Go out and subscribe to the Baltimore Banner, folks. Be real, be kind, and be back next week, folks, for another edition of the Adam Jones Podcast.